Welcome back aboard a chilly USS Cod. I'm here with one of our stellar crewmen, Phil McCourt, and we are cold, but we're going to discuss how the impossible gets done today, thanks to the magic of 3D printing. I don't know jack about that, but he does. Phil, how long have you been involved with 3D printing?
Well, I've been modeling and stuff like that all my life, but about 3 or 4 years ago, I started playing with a 3D printer, and it's been a slow progression. I'm starting to do some 3D CAD drawing now, so it's just a hobby.
Our friends at Parker Hannafin were able to 3D print the rubber eye guards for our periscopes, and that was a big help.
Yeah, there's two forms of 3D printing, FDM and then the resin. The resin has a lot of toxic stuff in it, so the filament is a lot safer to use.
Okay. And it's even progressed now, I guess, to the point where our friends at Lincoln Electric are doing metal 3D printing, and they have made copies of our vent risers as demonstrations of the technology for their customers. So we're able to partner with them, give them something submarine related to reproduce that isn't classified because they do work with the Navy. But anyway, so you and Dr. Bradrick and of course Jim Newton and help of curator Ben were really instrumental in creating battery reproductions, those full-scale
That was a fun project to make. We dug out the prints from the boat and made everything according to prints, and it was a very fun project to go through. It took 4 of us about 3 months.
Time well spent, and of course maybe Evan will put a link in here because we have a great we have one or at least one, maybe 2 programs about the battery. Yeah, so Evan put the link in there. But anyway, one of the things that there's so many small projects that you don't really think of until you happen to trip over something and you say, hey, wait a minute, maybe this is something that Phil could handle. And at this point, hopefully Evan will insert a great photo of the nose of our Mark 27 Mod 4 Cutie before it had its spinner.
We've been talking about getting an spinner impeller on this thing to show people what it looked like. Well, we didn't want to change the artifact or damage the artifact, so what we did was made something like this that would go into that hole.
It was just this open circle
I think what it
cavity.
I think it was a plate for the spinner assembly. They just put the outer plate in there just to fill up the hole. I think this was pushed in there and it was part of the spinner assembly.
Okay.
So but we didn't want to mess with anything as far as the artifact goes. Down here one day with Dr. Bradrick, and we measured the hole. I brought some mics down here and measured the hole. I 3D printed this, I CAD drew it as a size sample. Then we made one little flange on it. The idea was to stick it in the hole against the flange.
Right.
And then this is just a duplicate I made. And then we just put that in there. And
can I see that? Just because I may have fondled.
Because the customers ask all the time what was on here and that, and right. We went through a little research. I know you dug up a picture of the spinner assembly.
And we could maybe insert that.
And then online, there's all kind of patterns online for 3D printing all over the world. So I did some searching around, and I found a spinner. This is actually a design as a boat impeller for models. So I downloaded that and 3D printed it and made a little contraption that can go in there. 3D printing community is so massive now. There's 3 or 4 or 5 different clearinghouses for people put patterns, STL files up online, and you can download them.
I've compared this with the drawing from the Torpedo manual, and I don't see a whole lot of, if any, differences. So we were able to print this.
Yeah.
And then
basically I printed this. I 3D CAD drew this, and then took the spinner, put a space right here and glued that together, and hence then you have this. And that hole's like 55 millimeters. This is 54, so we can put it in there without damaging anything. And it came out better than I thought. I mean,
excellent.
Yeah, there's different ways to improve this, and I'm sure people will throw in the comments on the video. But
Yeah, one guy suggested basically an automotive filler spray. Which,
yeah, there's different ways to do it. On the back side of this, I actually used like a filler putty, for modeling. But since the customers aren't right on top of the thing, I mean,
for me, it's something that I've looked at that Torpedo for now 49 years, and I've always said something went there, and boy, it'd be great if we could find it. But in my work with the folks at the Naval Undersea Museum, pretty much they came up blank, unable to help us. So
exactly, it makes for a better experience with the visitors that come through. That was one of the reasons we did the battery project. I mean, it's easy to tell people how something looked or what, but you get a visual, and it just provides a better understanding of what it takes to make a boat like this.
right. So this is, you said this was your gift to the boat.
This is just,
Christmas present, huh?
as a volunteer down here, you got talents of all different varieties, everybody from every walk of life. And this place is pretty good about pulling off the talents of our various volunteers and benefactors, and it's been a fun experience down here.
Well, hopefully this isn't the end. What's next? Well, one of the things I know that another volunteer is doing, we'll talk about that in a future program, reproducing the rescue floats, and there's one over there, and we have to reproduce in metal. We have to bend some strap iron to make the bracket. But I guess the thing is, I have to get into the frame of thinking that what can we do that we can use 3D printing to reproduce.
Well, thanks to CNC machining is where the 3D printing came from. Machining, that you can do almost anything. The limit is the machine and how much money you got. But you got industrial machines like, you're talking about one of our benefactors, Lincoln. There are machines out there. Hell, they can print a whole boat nowadays. If you search around the internet, they've actually printed houses and boats and everything else.
Well, one of the things I'm thinking of is that we can do opaque things. Can you 3D print clear? Or is that a little more difficult?
There's clearish filament, but I don't want to say anything now because I don't know for sure.
Oh, because we have some missing lenses on clocks. That would be...
My skill set isn't up to speed in that area
Well,
yet.
we've got a lot of opaque stuff. So this was our little way of showing how things that, a few years ago I thought were just impossible are now getting done and getting done very well. So thank you, Phil. And, Phil, if you go to our Facebook page, in addition to seeing the battery project that we were discussing, Phil has a series on our Facebook page of taking visitors into unavailable places on the boat, and we've done quite a few. We've got to do something soon because
I just spoke to our curator here, and I got a couple ideas I'm going to work with him on.
Okay. Because we have a little write-up on Phil's work here with the impeller in our Facebook page. So
part of my job was electric motors, generators, controls. So I look at here and I understand how this stuff works. So, but we're going to share with some of the world out there. We got some ideas me and Evan are talking about.
Okay, well that sounds good. Well, anyway, so thanks. It's not so cold now, is it? Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and we'll be back with more interesting content. Thanks for joining us.